Welcome back. This is part 2, day 2 of A Weekend to Remember, and it's kicking off with a bang. So many great marriage tips to help couples discover new ways of connecting and communicating on a deeper level. We are excited to continue sharing our experience of our Weekend to Remember with you.
I'm in the mountains of North Carolina. This is the radar array on the Starship Enterprise, picking up signals from faraway galaxies. Women, do you ever complain that you cannot turn off your brain?
Yeah.
Yes? Do you? Do you ever have trouble going to sleep at night? Because you can't just shut your brain down. It doesn't help that he's snoring. But you can't turn your brain off. It's this amazing awareness. You know, when you bear a child, women, the physical structure of your brain actually changes. It enhances this. This is the reason children survive childhood. If you have a child, you have a quality I call momnipresence. You are everywhere mentally and emotionally at the same time, and you've had this experience of being in the basement doing whatever, and one of your kids is in the attic on the 3rd floor, and for no apparent reason, you will go, "What? What's going on up there? Cut that out." Right? Now, men, have you noticed it doesn't work that way for you? Yeah. Did you know that 96.7% of all accidents to children happen while dad is watching? 96.7%. That statistic is a result of a study in which I just made up the number. But I mean, it's right, don't you think? Because the truth is, guys, we don't live our lives like this. We live our lives like this. Not this. That's different. This. We're like those old cordless telephones. We got one floppy antenna, and if we walk 30 feet away from the house, we've lost the signal. So when you're watching the kids, they could be naked and on fire, and you wouldn't even know. No fire in the living room. Get outside. Where's your mom, anyway? You know that lady? We're as different as night and day, but as Joy said, with those sorts of differences, we're supposed to be one. We're supposed to achieve unity in the midst of that kind of diversity.
So I'm buying a shirt so I have something to wear tomorrow, and I'm getting these.
So we just finished day 2 of A Weekend to Remember, and it was awesome.
Yeah, really loved the material. It really goes in line with what we do, what we teach, what we coach on, and
Really, they are really setting couples up for something different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you and I would have attended a conference like this years ago, it would have immediately started to shift our relationship.
yeah, they bring up so many topics that are relevant today in couples and the things we hear either other people going through or definitely things that we currently go through or have gone through. Just great topics to be able to have conversation around. And a lot of times I avoided those conversations or did not know how to talk about them. But the way they really described it gave some easy ways to be able to talk about some of the things that to me seemed hard to talk about.
Yeah, and I think that they also did just such a great job of normalizing the problems that marriage has. Like, sometimes it's easy to feel like we're the only ones that can't seem to figure out this marriage thing. Like,
Yeah.
how do we keep arguing over the same thing for years? And no marriage is above those kinds of things. It's just about how you work through them.
I have not met a married couple who did not argue. I imagine if it is possible, but I imagine you've absolutely stopped caring whenever there's no arguments. I think arguments are going to come in marriage, and I think they're important because they can draw you closer together in intimacy when you talk through what the different opinions are or what maybe
What's the conflict?
Yeah, what the conflict is.
Yeah, you can either let it disconnect you as a couple, or you can allow it to draw you closer together.
Oh, good point.
And that's what conflict resolution is all about, and they did an amazing job of teaching that today.
Yeah.
So for tonight, we have something really exciting. They gave us an envelope. It says a date to remember, and we're going to bring you along so you can see what that is going to be like. But the first thing that we have in here is a template to write each other a letter.
When's the last time you wrote your spouse a letter, or maybe even a note or a sticky note?
You wrote one day before we left, and it meant so much to me. He put on the mirror, he said, "I cannot wait to spend this weekend completely devoted to you and our marriage. Love, Travis." And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. It really meant a lot to me. So I'm excited to get a letter from you.
I also know that that is the way to Adele's heart, is through emotional connection. In fact, most women, that's the way to the heart. Not that I'm being manipulative to write the letter, but it comes from my heart that I know that's important to you. I know it's important to you to have a connection, an emotional connection, and I want to be able to do that. And so writing a letter I'm able to express what's going on for me or my emotions and how I feel about you.
Yeah. Do you like getting a letter from me? You're
Yeah,
just like, let's just get to the sex that comes after the letter. I said it.
I definitely like that part. No, I do like getting letters. Let me tell you why. One of my major love language is words of affirmation. And I really want to know how people perceive me, or I really want to hear words of high value over me. And a lot of times when you're writing a letter, you're telling me your thoughts about me. You're telling me your feelings about me. And it really fills me up to be able to hear words of high value and things that you think about me.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I think so common with a lot of men that words of affirmation really do impact you because you're looking for that value. You're looking for that value sometimes in the wrong places. And if I'm not the one that's pouring into you in that way, then it does open up the door to, I got to get it from somewhere.
Good point.
I need a value in my life.
Oh, great point.
And I want to be that person.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's even in men. I have made a determination that you and our daughter, very first thing when you guys wake up, I want to be the man who speaks truth and value over both of you, because I know at some point when y'all leave the house, or she goes to school, or you go to work, or something like that, I want to be the one that speaks value rather than somebody else speaking something over you.
Well, you know what that does for me is if I'm getting it from you, why on earth would I give anyone else the importance? Because if I'm getting it from you, I really don't need it from anywhere else. But when I'm not getting that from you, and that other person unintentionally is coming along and they're like, you look so beautiful today. Your eyes are beautiful. I love your laugh. It's like, oh, that feels nice. And that is just a slippery slope where you're not meaning for anything bad to happen. You're just looking for someone to take value and speak into you. And when your spouse isn't the one doing it, it opens that door.
That's good, because it may not be that you're looking for that.
Yeah.
But when you receive it, it's like, that feels really good. I want more of that, and my husband's not giving me that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to write a love letter to each other, and what I really like about this is we're about to go on a date.
Ooh, I'm so excited. We already told you where we're going.
We made reservations at Zombra's in Asheville. We love Zombra's. It's very hard to get reservations there. I hope I brought the right clothing.
You made those reservations like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And they are completely out of reservations.
Yeah, it does. It goes out of reservations fast. It's a small place, but it's really cool. They have tapas. But we're going to do some conversation cards. You know, if you follow some of the stuff we do, or maybe you've taken a course from us, we love conversation cards. They're great ways to be able to connect with your spouse when, quite frankly, I don't think I can come up with stuff sometimes, especially whenever maybe I'm in a moment of not having a clear thought process, or maybe I'm really tired or exhausted.
Around each other all the time. What else is there to talk about? Like,
yeah.
I get in that space a lot of, sorry, I don't know what to talk about. Or we'll go on a date and you're like, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like,
no, I don't either.
So we just sit there. So this is awesome. We have conversations.
Yeah. So we're going to do that conversation. Here is our love letters. This gives you, I haven't read it yet, but I think it gives you complete instructions on everything you need to be able to write a love letter to your spouse. And I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, we're going to make it a date to remember. So we're excited to bring you along.
A date to remember at the weekend to remember.
Ooh.
Oh, this is cool. So what we're going to do is we're here in the hotel room, which, by the way, it seems a little chilly today inside.
All day.
So we're going to go out into the sun. There's a golf course here. We're going to go lay in the grass.
It's like, well, it says it's 79 degrees and there is a beautiful breeze out there. So we're going to go sit in the shade, play some nice music, and really get connected to our hearts and what we truly want to say to each other.
Yep.
All right, let's go do that. just got seated at Sombra's in the cutest little private nook.
Thank you, Zombras, for this. This is such a neat restaurant and such a neat area. They have an outdoor area, they have an indoor complete bar area, and they have multiple little rooms. And we're in a little room with 2 small tables, and it's such a private area.
So private and intimate, which is exactly what we were hoping for.
It's kind of, so I'm looking up, and if I look up, I can see feet of people walking across the street. So we're below the ground. It's kind of like a basement area. Low light. I told you I like to go into the restrooms because it looks like you're walking through like a cave. They have
Very
blue,
romantic.
really low toned down blue
How are we
lights.
doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
My name's
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
We had the best time using our conversation card to connect on a deeper level and learn new things about each other. We also took the opportunity to read each other our letter, and wow, that was so extra special to us to learn what the feelings are in our hearts for each other. We both cried and laughed, and it was just ultimately one of the best nights we've ever had.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We just woke up a little while ago, if you can't tell. I haven't put my makeup on
No.
or
But hey,
fixed hair.
I have a clean clothes on at least.
Yeah, so Adele forgot her clothes, and we bought some clothes.
Bought a shirt, weekend to remember shirt, and we're in the same jeans, but that's okay. At least I bought underwear.
Yeah, right.
That's important.
Yeah, and I did too this time. But
So we slept good last night and had our breakfast this morning.
yeah, I'm still like on a high from our date last night. Had a great time hanging out with you and enjoying each other. Thankful that you paid for our date.
Sugar mama. And what I really recognized, we got in the car to come back to the hotel, and I was just thinking about the night, and I was like, it was nice. I really enjoyed it. It was different. And I just don't need all that. Like, I used to really need dates like that because I wasn't getting your attention any other time. And so date night meant I got your attention.
Yep.
And I was really craving that. I wanted quality time with you. And so date night was how we would do that. But now we've just incorporated date night almost every night after Haven goes to bed. We just hang out and we chat. And if something's on our heart, we just talk about it. We don't have to wait until date night. And so I was like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. The food was fantastic. And we could totally create that at home, and I would be even happier.
Yeah, I really enjoy when we do our date nights at home. I enjoy the comfort. We're very comfortable. We have the ability to have great conversation without someone coming over and
We
saying,
got interrupted constantly.
yeah. And that's okay because we want to be taken care of in the restaurant too. We want to make sure our water stays filled, or our orders are good and that sort of thing, and our food is tasty. You know, those things are important to us. And when we get started in a conversation, we get kind of deep, and whenever we get interrupted, it's sometimes a little bit more challenging to get started and stop and start and stop. And so our date nights at home, we're more comfortable. We're lounging around the house and whatever we feel comfortable in, eating the food in the house that we feel comfortable with, and hanging out. And I think I enjoy it a lot more too.
Yeah, and it takes all the pressure off of need to have conversation on this date.
Yeah.
Because we have conversation all the time, and it's just a regular lifestyle thing for us. And if you're not doing that as a couple, I highly recommend start figuring out ways that you can create a date night in your home on a regular basis. Not a once a week thing, not a once a month thing, but how can you incorporate deep conversation with your spouse all the time?
Even just taking a moment, and first of all, you got to schedule it, because what gets scheduled gets done. So you have to schedule it. But the second one is, don't make it too hard on yourself. Don't require a lot of planning and organizing, and everything needs to be perfect and lined up the right way. Just start something small, something really easy, and like, let's just try this out.
You know how we got started was conversation cards.
Yes, it was.
We were given some conversation cards, so we started hanging out on our patio because we were getting to know each other during that time, just a few years ago. And through those conversation cards, we would have really awesome conversations on our patio. And we started seeing the value of how connected we felt from conversation. And so we started sharing with Haven that You know, 8:30 is mommy and daddy's date night time, and you're with us all day long. And yes, I'm with daddy too, but it's not focused alone time. And so she has started supporting that time. Like, is it 8:30? Oh, you gotta go date daddy. Go date him. And it's just so sweet to see how it took a while because she didn't want to let us leave her after tucking in and stuff. But now we have her trained that she's, you know, she's there to support us too. She likes it when we're connected.
Yeah, who wouldn't? Because she is treated better. She is raised in a more effective way by two loving parents. When we're loving each other and when we're connected to each other, she is getting the benefit. And so would you and your family. If you're engaged and purposeful with each other, the kids, people around you, your family around you, everything seems to work out better.
Yeah, and if I had to have like a perfect scenario for our date last night, this is what it would look like. We would have lit candles, probably even lit a fireplace, and set up a really nice like cheese, fruit, nuts, meats, kind of a charcuterie board style, glass of wine, and having conversation over that at home, reading our letters to each other. That would have been like my perfect scenario. Well, last night was so amazing. I was in the middle of reading you my letter, and it kind of like choked me up because it was the first time I was reading it out loud, and it's from my heart. And so it choked me and I started crying. Thank God I had tissues. And then our waiter walks up like right in the middle, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he is gonna think something terribly wrong is going on over here. And it was all good, happy tears. But I would have liked to like really enjoy that moment with you in a different atmosphere. And it was still great and amazing. But if I had to pick, that's how it would be.
Yeah, I'm not a detective, but I would say that's a clue for me. She just laid out an entire perfect date night at home, and so I took notes of that.
Okay, good.
I took notes of that, and that's called a clue. That that's what you want.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let me pick that up.
Let me throw this pro tip out there. A pro tip is when you do have a date night with your spouse, that is not the time to have deep conversations about arguments or things that you want to take care of in a negative way with your spouse.
Yeah.
That's not the opportunity to have those. There are opportunities to have those, but it's not on date night.
You know, my favorite thing to talk about on our date nights is when I get to learn more about you and your heart.
Yeah.
What do you think? You know, what drives your actions? What are you learning in your spiritual walk? Things like that. That is super connecting.
Or talking about possibilities. You know, what's our future going to have? Yeah, dreaming. What's our future going to have? Where do you want to travel to next? And not shutting each other down, but just dreaming and enjoying each other and enjoying your life. Because that's what you're meant to do, is to learn each other. You're for a lifetime. Right. There's so much to learn. I feel like the more I learn about you, the less I really know about you.
Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm constantly learning. I used to feel like in my life, I knew you. I know him. There's probably nothing new I could learn. Wow.
A whole lot more. A whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, every day I'm learning new things about you. So today is very unique. And they told us that at 9 a.m. is the men's session.
We're on Sunday, by the way.
Yeah,
Day
Sunday.
3 of Weekend to Remember. Day 1 was Friday. Day 2 was Saturday. We had our date to remember last night on Saturday night. Sunday, I agree with you. It is unique. And they said they're going to do
men's
for an hour.
For an hour at 9. And Tim said, ladies, I'm going to tell all the men exactly what you want them to know.
Yep. So we're
but
about
no
to learn
women in the
something.
room.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn what you learned.
And then 10 minutes after we leave the room, women are going to come in, which is a great opportunity for the men to be able to go back and pack our rooms up and get out of the room and check out.
Oh, you're going to pack everything up?
Absolutely, I will.
In the car.
After you get it all ready for the first hour while I'm there.
Oh, okay, got it.
So even in the women's, you're going to do the women's, and I'm so grateful that they're going to be speaking to the women all the things that I want them to speak to them. Maybe they'll fix our spouses.
Doubt it. But I might learn something.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I am too. I think it's really neat how family life is. We've never been to a marriage retreat where they do that. We've been to a good bit of marriage retreats.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what that has in store. And then I'm assuming they'll finish up one session together, and then we'll head home and get back to life. So we're excited to see what those sessions are all about, and we'll be sure to bring you along. So we just got home after a weekend to remember. We just got unpacked and everything was put away, and we just wanted to end this video with a few highlights from the last day. It was so awesome.
Yeah, first I want to end with gratitude. Gratitude for Family Life, for hosting these for, I can't remember how long, but 40 something years.
46, I think.
I shouldn't know how long. They started the year I was born.
That's true.
46 years. They have been doing this, and I can tell why they're doing it for so long, because it really makes a difference. And so thank you, Family Life. It really made a difference for our marriage. We have come home with tons of notes, tons of things that's important for us to look at in strengthening our own marriage. One of the things I loved about today is they separated the men from the women and had, specifically for me, talking about what does it look like to be a husband in the kingdom of God, and what would my roles and responsibilities as the head of the household be if I'm doing it the way Jesus taught it to be, versus the worldly way of thinking of I am the head of the household to dominate, to rule over. And I just love the way they did that. And they did the same thing with women. They did a women's breakout and talk to you guys separately.
Yeah, and one little nugget I'm walking away from is the realization that sometimes around parenting, we will be in a discussion with Haven, and she's asking a question and a decision needs to be made, and one of us will make that decision without ever even consulting the other person on, hey, what's your thoughts about this? And while these are small things right now, because she's 7, it is dividing us a lot of times, because if you make a decision and I'm like, I had a different thought, now I'm like, you did that without me. And like I said, while it's small now, it isn't an issue. I could see how it could absolutely become an issue in the future. And so one of my biggest takeaways is I want to be completely united when we make decisions regarding parenting for Haven. So it was so great. I just love how they pulled the women aside, and we had our own little talk about what does it look like to be a godly wife, and what is it that Jesus expects out of us. So it was so powerful.
Yeah.
And then I love how they ended the entire conference. It was so special and so unique, and it's something that I'll remember forever. So at the very end, they have the couples face each other and do a new covenant vow. Even though it's not a wedding and it's not an official thing, the words, they said, really get connected to your heart and the words that you're saying. And the words in this covenant are very special to me. And while we have a new covenant in our own marriage, it was special to like revisit that those vows are really important. And that's what it was for. And then they give us this gorgeous certificate of our vows that we just committed to each other at the end of this conference. And it's beautiful, and I would love to have it framed as just a reminder of, hey, I do promise to love you like God loves me, and so much more.
Yeah, that was such a special time for me too. I had no idea they were doing that. I didn't know how the whole weekend would go, and I was so pleasantly surprised throughout the entire event of how intentional Family Life is in connecting marriages in a vertical centered way. And the covenant is just such a great way to just reaffirm our commitment to one another in marriage and what we're actually committed to.
Right. So overall, we had the best experience with a weekend to remember, and would absolutely recommend it to other couples, whether you're needing an overhaul or are you just needing to go from good to great. Maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, you would rate yourself an 8. Way to go. And what if you could be a 10? Or what if you could be just even a 9? And that's what I love about this weekend, is it really covers all marriages out there can benefit from what they are teaching. And Travis and I, in our hearts, truly believe every bit of what they said this weekend. Like, they were so on point with what the Bible says, and really just so much truth. It was so refreshing to just hear so much truth around marriage.
Yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10. Way to go, Family Life.
Yeah. So maybe you know someone who would love to do a marriage retreat weekend, or is already interested in a weekend to remember. This video is not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by A Weekend to Remember or Family Life. This is something that we truly believe would make a huge difference in so many marriages. So if you know somebody like that, share this video with them. I feel like we gave a really great oversight of what the entire weekend is about and how much value we found in this weekend. So please pay it forward and share this video.
So there has been millions of couples who've gone to Weekend to Remember, and you may be one of those. We'd love for you to put in the comments, what was your favorite part of the weekend? I know they've changed it over the years, and I'm just so interested in what other people liked.
Yeah, share with us your biggest takeaway that you got from the weekend, whether it was years ago or recent. We would love to hear. So we hope you enjoyed this video, which is a completely different shift from what we normally do. And we're excited to be bringing you more lighthearted, fun, and exciting adventures that Travis and I do, and sometimes we take as a family. So be looking for more videos around adventures and so much fun that can be had as a couple.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye. What are you thinking? You're giving that nod like, I'm getting lucky tonight.
I get to write you a love letter.
Now we're seeking my love language.
That's exactly what I want to do tonight.
So
Now, family life, you guys can go ahead and use that date to remember, and it's okay.
it says it on the card.
Does it?
Yes.
I thought you came up with it.
I was like,
Oh, it's...
you're hilarious. I was like, what do you
good
mean?
Good job, family life.
So we'll be sure and update you on those particular sessions and what we most loved about it.
Oh, that was boring.
Help me out.
Just don't be boring.
How was that?
That's good. Oh, that was good. I cannot believe we didn't put our makeup on for this.
I know.
Or fix our hair.
Are you embarrassed?
I am not.
Good. Come
Just
on.
don't put this online. This does not go online.
Your hair is like
Yeah, look at that.
crazy hair.
Good morning.
So sexy.
We just woke up. Okay, bye.
Share it, and thank you so much for doing that. Sounds so dorky. So yeah.